Okay, so next let's talk about distance indicators. So the distance indicators is quite simple. Basically, we have two major components to be covered. First thing is distance indicator base component and distance indicator arrow. So this distance indicator arrow is sort of like a utility that we add on the user interface so that when the character is losing the focus of the target object, if it indicate or if it enabled a distance indicator, then it will show a distance indicator arrow on the target loose. Okay, so this will be a very small section compared to the the tutorials, but yeah, it's worth covering these topics. Right, so now let's go to the implementation. Okay, so I'm on my project and this is the test level. So currently we have this setup where we have these two interactable elements and these NPC. Okay, so enabling the distance indicator is quite simple. All you have to do is just click on whatever the instance that you want to implement the distance indicator, and at the map system invoker component, go to the distance indicator section and simply enable this distance indicator. Okay, so once you play, now you can see it's on the user interface, right? But if you lose the focus like this, which means you are looking away from the object, even though if you lose the target or to the view for this object, the distance indicator arrow is clamped to the user interface. Okay, so you can see no matter what direction I am rotating the camera or focusing the camera, this distance indicator arrow is always updating until I get the target focus again. And also once you reach to the target at the close distance, those distance indicators are disappeared like this. Okay, because at the close distance we don't need to showcase such UI instance. Only if we have some sort of a distance, then only it will be appeared. Okay, so you can configure this stuff over here. So what sort of a distance indicator offset that you need from the target object, and what sort of a distance response volume radius that you require. So you can adjust this stuff and see how everything works. Right, so these pre-configured values are false for this actor component, but let's just say if you have a dedicated actor that by default need to be enabled this distance indicator, then you can simply do that in the class level. Okay, but I just want to show you the features right now. Okay, and similarly, not only for the static objects, for the dynamic objects also these distance indicators are working. All you have to do is go to the actor and go to its map system invoker component and simply enable the distance indicator. Right, so you can see their distance indicators are also there and it's updating on runtime. And even at the focus loss, they are properly clamped to the screen. Okay, right, so that's about the distance indicators. And in case if you need to go to the source and maybe do some modifications, or maybe you need to understand how it has been implemented, then all you have to do is go to the UI and there is a folder called distance indicator, and there I organize these two widgets. Okay, so the WB distance indicator means this UI element, and WB distance indicator arrow means this clamped UI element. Okay, so the first one is quite simple. The distance indicator is just a simple widget with the required configurations, but it performs this event tick to update the distance text on runtime. Okay, and also to control the visibilities, which means like you seen earlier, when I'm reach to the target or when I'm close to the target, they are slowly disappearing. So in order to listen to those events, I have added event dispatchers as well. Okay, and also when the actor is destroyed, those UI elements are automatically being destroyed as well. And I'm not using any sort of delays or retrievable delays. I'm using as timed action to update the distance indicator for the optimization purposes. Okay, right. And similarly, the distance indicator arrow component is there. But compared to the distance indicator, actually the WB distance indicator arrow UI component is a bit complex. So there are some maths involved on calculating the position of the distance indicator. So you can go and check out this stuff like how it has been implemented, but actually not on here. It is being updated at it's been updated at the distance indicator itself, right? So you can check this WB arrow reference, and here we are initializing the distance indicator arrow, and here we calculate the screen clamps at this function and decide where to appear the distance indicator arrow. And at the on construct, here you can see the update distance indicator is there, and there we calculate whether the target is losing the focus or not. And if the target is losing the focus, then we are updating the arrow over here like this. So there are certain calculations has been applied, and I'm not gonna go in detail right now, but maybe not maybe actually I'm sort of plan to do some Udemy course about this map system. So over there I will explain in depth about this mathematical stuff, but just for the time being, I would say this reference this stuff would be enough. Okay, and if we are on the focus, then we don't need to update the arrow, so that the update arrow will be disabled and the distance will be updated at the distance indicator component. Okay, so likewise there are multiple different functions that have been implemented, so you can go through them one by one and get a better understanding. Right, so that's about distance indicators, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.